Yeah. Why you join the army?
I joined the army because I was in college. I ain't had shit else to do.
Why you join the army? Yeah. Kelly, why you join the army?
$20,000 bonus that I never received.
Shit. Why you join the army?
Because fuck you. To lead soldiers like you.
Why you join the army?
Why I joined the army?
Yeah.
If I make
Why you join the army?
I don't fucking know.
How? Why'd you join the army?
Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all credit and all acknowledgement to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to my teachers, to whom I learned this truth from, starting with the beginning at the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, the all the sincere Akim, presenting the bodies, living sacrifices, and making sure that this word is preached throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. Before I get on with this video, I want to just mention that, not a part of any GMS camps. All right, but I do learn and I study under the doctrine of Great Millstone. All right, Slakia. Just pulling in. But yeah, I played this clip. It's basically a compilation of individuals in the army, being asked, why they joined the army. Clearly, you see their reactions, and the sarcasm. All right, because, first and foremost, to so-called Black, Hispanics, Native American Indians in the army, that's not something for us to, be really affiliated with, being that these are, this is the same cavalry that came over here, conquered this land. All right. Basically you joining sides with the enemy, like I said, two so-called Black, Hispanics, Native American Indians in the army, or to any of you thinking about joining the army, it's just not for us, That's why, I played this video, and clearly you see, these people, they're miserable, man. People come back, come home all intense, all messed up in the head, committing suicide and committing homicide and all these other things, man. Because again, it's just not, as far as Esau's army, it's not for us to be, getting ourselves into, I'm not going to get into the whole history, but there's a system set up, our forefathers, when we went to war, it was a whole system that was set up, a whole rotation, certain certain of our forefathers, which for the most part, that they were men, don't really hear about women joining the military and going out to war and all that stuff, but again, certain men, they will be out, they'd be out for a certain period of time, and they do what they had to do, and then they come back home, spend time with their family and things like that. And because, like I said, there is a whole system to it, whole rotation. It's just it was just a whole system, set up, for the men, going to war, doing what they had to do, come back, spend time with family, and all that stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to get into the whole history in this video, but and even so with that, it was done in righteousness, because Esau's military today, they put the propaganda out, terrorism or whatever the case may be, and they paint this narrative, these are the bad guys, we got to go over there and whatever nonsense they push out. But in reality, all Esau does, all they do is, they collect information, they're scoping the resources of a land. They see land, they scope the land out for resources, you know, and they, again, you know, they make up some type of propaganda, and, you know, to paint that nation, you know, as some type of villain. And, you know, basically, you know, they go over there and take by violence, take by the sword, which is their blessing, you know. Which, again, you know, they everything that they do is, you know, it's all in wickedness, you know. But nevertheless, you know, a lot of times, you know, our people, you know, they get caught up into this stuff because, you know, ultimately they don't put their trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You know, it's really the point of me doing this video, you know, because, you know, they, you know, talk about all these benefits and things you can get by making this covenant with the heathen, which that's in our law. We're not supposed to be making these covenants with these heathens, because, again, you know, when has Esau ever kept a promise? You know, real quick, and it's like, you know, if I'm rambling a little bit, you know, saw one of the brothers, an elder, you know, did a video, you know, pretty much going into how, you know, kind of doing videos, you know, when the spirit's on you to do it, you know, because the elder was going into, you know, a lot of times you know, you might have a lesson planned out, but nevertheless, you know, you know, you pretty much you sit on it, you know. You know, day might turn into a couple of days, or whatever the case may be, and you end up not doing a lesson on it, you know. So, you know, the brother's on point, because, you know, I, for the most part, you know, always have lessons planned out, but I end up never really getting to it, because, you know, I kind of just procrastinate, you know. So, like I said, you know, it's like if I'm kind of rambling on this, not really organized, but kind of just flowing through the spirit. But nevertheless, I want to get this real quick in Genesis the 49th chapter, and dealing with Gad. Genesis 49 and verse 19. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. All right, so you see, and because I mentioned that, you know, the Esau's military today, this is the same cavalry that, you know, they came over here to the Americas and pretty much, you know, almost committed genocide, you know, almost completely wiped out, you know, the tribe of Gad and Reuben, so on and so forth, you know. So when it says Gad, a troop shall overcome him, this is the same Esau's military today. This is the same military. This is the same cavalry that you were joining that, you know, damn nearly wiped, you know, some of the tribes off the map completely, you know. So again, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you getting involved in Esau's military, you pretty much, you know, you're joining hand in hand with the enemy, you know, and it will behoove you, you know, to you know, well, if you're thinking about joining, you know, it will behoove you to, you know, not to do so, you know. But a precept that I'm thinking about, 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, I'm gonna get that later. But I'm gonna go to Isaiah. What is that? Let me look for it real quick. Isaiah 19. Let me try Isaiah 30. Isaiah 30. Yeah, Isaiah chapter 30, starting verse 1, it says, Woe to the rebellious children, save Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So you see, because our people, you know, they have a habit of doing this, you know, because Esau, you know, just like in ancient Egypt, you know, when in ancient Egypt, you know, when they were the dominant force in the known world during their time, you know, and our people, they trusted in Egypt because talking about ancient Egypt, because of their, pretty much, like the military power, the military strength, the chariots and whatnot, and um, if you know the scriptures, Esau today, he's known as he's known as Pharaoh today, and America is spiritually called Egypt today. All right, so just like back then in ancient Egypt, all right, where you had our people looking up to these, to those Egyptians, it's the same thing today. Esau is trusting, our people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, they're trusting in, the Pharaoh today, which is Esau. Trusting in Egypt, because it might tell you, what with whatever benefits, and again, our people get caught up on all that stuff, because again, they, for the most part, they want a better life, kind of want to take the easy way out. They don't want to really deal with the curses that were put upon us, as a people. And again, Esau here, he comes, with all these benefits and whatnot. All right, but ultimately, they don't. Our people don't put their trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Go to 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, talks about those benefits. 2nd Esdras 9 and 9. 2nd Esdras 9 and I started verse 9. It says, "Then shall they be in pitiful case which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me." So you see again, put your trust more in the oppressor, the one that's pretty much doing all the damage, more than the one that's or you put your trust in the oppressor. You looking for comfort from the one that's causing all the damage. Rather than putting putting your trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, which he's the one that's ultimately, scriptures talk about how Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, he basically he wounds and he heals. He's the one that causes poverty, causes you to get rich, whatever the case may be. Ultimately it's Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. But again, our people, for the most part, they don't have no faith, so they look, they look to the enemy. They look to the modern day Pharaoh, and they put their trust in Egypt. I think there's another scripture. If I can't find it, I'll just move on. Because again, seeing that video, those soldiers, man, they looked miserable. Because again, the way that Esau has everything set up, it's there's a way to do everything, and that includes, the military structure, the rotation and the whole process of going to war, because this, it's not normal for people to be at war for so long, it's a rotation, it's a process to it. I'm trying to think of this precept. Let me see if this was it. No, can't find it, so I'm gonna just move on. Because the scriptures that talk about, I think I already read it. Let me check this again. Isaiah 30. It talks about let me just move on. So yeah, so again, this whole thing with joining Esau's military, joining his army and whatnot, that's not for so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians. That's not for us to be getting indulged with, because for the most part, I'm sure more than the majority of us, at some point, even thought about joining the military, because, we want a better life, want to live a little more comfortably, whatnot. I know I myself, I thought about joining the military at one point, just to, make something of myself, but sure enough, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, didn't, allow things to go through. Didn't allow things to go as planned, because one thing I'm gonna tell you about these armies, and these militaries, these are gonna be the same militaries that fight against Yahweh Shem Shai. That's what people don't understand, especially when they start sending those troops over there to the Middle East and the Valley of Jehoshaphat, all right, which is Yahweh's judgment, all right. Yahweh shows up, and I'm gonna go. Now I'm gonna go to Second Esdras, Second Esdras, the 13th chapter. All right. I'm gonna start at verse 3. Second Esdras 13:3 says, "And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him." Yeah, because when Yahweh Shai shows up with the innumerable amount of angels, all right, it's gonna be a sight to see, man. People are gonna be losing their wits, right? Jump down to verse 5. It says, "And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the regional place where the hill was graven, and could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight." So you see, again, because the same military today, it's going to be the same military to fight, to try to, stand up and fight against Yahushai when Yahushai shows up, and all the multitude of angels. All right, it's going to be a very fearsome day. A lot of blood is going to be shed during this time. And again, you Jakes in the military, pretty much once you get sent over there to the Middle East, that's pretty. You're not coming back home. Just to be, frank and to the point. That's pretty much signing your death sentence. If you get sent over there to the Middle East, you're more than likely not coming home. All right. Verse 9, it says, "And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out his mouth, and as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire and the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and flew with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up everyone, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. While I saw this, I was afraid." So you see, because again, the Lord's going to gather all those nations up. The Lord's stirring up the spirit to where all the nations are going to get gathered up over there, mainly over there in the Middle East. All right, and when he shows up, it's going to be violence. All right. And it's a what was that? Verse 11. It's like, what was that? The blasphemous. Because the scripture, I just read it. I don't know why I can't find it. Talks about how, when this book, because, during the height of World War III, all these nations are going to be fighting each other. And during the height of World War III, and nuclear missiles are going to be shot off, and how Shai shows up, he cracks through those skies. All the nations, they're going to turn, they're going to stop fighting each other, and they're going to turn to fight Yahushai. All right. But here, it said, the Lord's going to pretty much fuck them up. It's going to be an uneven fight. It's going to be like, Mike Tyson knocking out a, fighting a newborn baby, man. It's not gonna be even fight, you know. And Ezra saw this vision. He said it was nothing to be perceived but dust and smoke and the smell of smoke, you know. And when Ezra saw this vision, because Ezra is back here today again, through reincarnation, but that's another topic. But when Ezra saw this vision, he was terribly afraid. He was very afraid. And Ezra he's one of the elect, all right. Because the elect, they're going to be saved during this time, but even the elect, they're going to be terribly, sorely afraid, just to show you, this isn't something to take in lightly, all right. But point being, being in these armies and whatnot, man, it will behoove you not to, indulge yourself in it. Because that great war in heaven is that it talks about in Revelations. This is if you're in the military, you're pretty much you're going to be a part of it. And this is a great sacrifice that's going to take place on this earth, especially over here in America. All right, and again, if you so-called Black Hispanic Native American Indians, if you partake, in this covenant with these Edomites, ultimately, this is going to be a judgment. So it will behoove you to, just not be a partaker of these things. You want a better life. You want to, live a little comfortably and try to make something of yourself. But again, we're all under these curses, and this is not a rest. So this is not the time to, ultimately, you got to put your trust in Yahweh Shem Shai, and seek, that which is sufficient for thee, your daily bread. You just got to make it day to day, and we got to, deal with the hell that we got to deal with until Yahweh Shem Shai, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh sends His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, to deliver us, So, that's all, Yahweh Jazah, you were edified. Once again, giving all credit to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to my teachers, starting with and beginning at the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone. And until next time, I say shalom.